I can't believe that Tottenham have somehow managed to throw away a 2-1 win against Manchester United in the dying seconds, in a game where we were terrible but still looked on course to win, in a game where we were 1-0 down but had some Odegaard magic, some Matty Tell magic to turn the game around at home against a team that had 10 men, no less, in the final few minutes of the game, and yet we still somehow managed to throw it away, managed to preserve this rubbish home record we have under Thomas Frank. And I just can't help but be incredibly frustrated at this result for a number of different reasons. I mean, first of all, the very obvious, I don't think we played very well. Again, I hate these pre-match interviews from Thomas Frank at the moment, where he's coming out and he's saying, we're ready, we're up for it, we want to attack. And it's just a load of rubbish. I mean, the lineup speaks for itself from this game. And I will start very firstly by saying, fine, a point is maybe a fair result, and maybe that should just be the end of it. But in these scenarios, at home, against a team that you're going to be rivaling for European places or whatever, when you've got Arsenal away after the international break, to be 2-1 up against 10 men with 2 minutes left in the game, after Richarlison's just launched his shirt off and started crying on the pitch because he's finally scored a goal, it's so frustrating, and it embarrasses us as Tottenham fans when things happen like this. I mean, from the lineup, again, at home, Thomas Frank shuffling things round. It's not like we didn't put in a fantastic performance against Copenhagen in the Champions League in midweek, and then he just goes and changes a load of the lineup, brings in Richarlison, who has been absolutely awful, brings in Jed Spence, who cannot play left back to save his life at the moment, for Udogie, who was arguably our best player against Copenhagen, and then to drop Wilson Odegaard, if you like. That one is just the most mind-boggling to me, because again, fantastic against Copenhagen, and he proved when he came off the bench what a powerful impact he can have for Tottenham Hotspur. So I'm just getting so sick and tired of Thomas Frank at home for Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, this is a team that we played against, right, who we haven't lost to in the last 7 games, or now 8 games. 1,165 days since we last lost to Manchester United. And yet, we still go out there and put in baffling performances. Absolutely awful, right? And they're a better team than they were in the Europa League final back in May in Bilbao. They've obviously got the likes of Mbuemo and Cunha in their team now, who are decent players and they make an impact. But just from the very first minute, it just wasn't good enough. 0 shots on target in the first half against Manchester United. 0.07 expected goals. So forgive us for being frustrated when you come out in your interview an hour before the game and say we want to attack them, and then you just don't do it. And I know why we didn't do it, because we don't have the quality on the pitch to be able to do it. Randall Kolo Muani looked bright again. He was the one that got hooked at half-time. Baffling decision. And hindsight's a very beautiful thing, right? And Richarlison, yes, he scored the second goal, even though I feel like Odegaard's shot was going in anyway. But the fact that he remained on the pitch for 90 minutes, as opposed to someone like Kolo Muani, who is clearly the superior striker, who clearly has more talent in his locker, it doesn't get the fans on side with Thomas Frank. You know, booing substitutions because we all know, sat there in the stadium or sat there watching at home, that it's the wrong decision. To take Xavi Simons off when you're chasing the game was an incredibly brave decision. And Thomas Frank might sit there and argue, well, it paid off. Of course it did. We got a point out of the game. We should have won the game. Richarlison scored a goal, whatever. I don't think it was the right decision, and I stick by that. You want someone like Xavi Simons on the pitch being able to affect the game when you're losing, rather than take him off and bring on Bentancur in his place with João Paulinho alongside him. I'm just so confused, and as you can tell, pretty annoyed, pretty peed off about how we played and the result. Obviously, it's a bit gut-wrenching that you go out there and you are 2-1 up and you look like you've just completed a ridiculous turnaround, and you could say that we don't deserve 3 points from that game. But yet, when you're in that position and then you still throw it away with, I think it was Brennan Johnson not following his man to the back post from the corner, and Vicario is already in his own net by the time De Ligt gets that header at the end of the game. Like, Vicario embodies Tottenham, right? He's really good sometimes, and then other times he's just crap, just brain dead with some of the stuff that he does on the pitch. But Udogie and Odegaard, the two focal points to us getting back into that game, and they obviously didn't come on until late in the second half. Odegaard has that left wing spot nailed down for me. He's a fantastic talent. He needs obviously playing. He needs to be utilised, and he's a very, very good player. Matisse Tell, the disrespect that young man has had from Thomas Frank, being left out of the Champions League squad and barely getting minutes in the Premier League. And you saw his goal today. You saw his goal against Manchester United. It was fantastic. Touch, turn, bang, into the top corner. Richarlison could never do something like that. Matisse Tell is a better option for Tottenham up front than Richarlison. I'd even go so far as to say that Dane Scarlett is a better option. So all of these changes, all of these decisions are just weighing down on me, and I think a lot of Tottenham fans as well. And that's why we're so frustrated. It's Arsenal away after the international break, and then PSG away in the Champions League. Two incredibly tough games that, let's be honest, we will be incredibly lucky to get any points from at all. So when you're in the position that we were in against Manchester United, to not then see it out when Sesko goes off with an injury and United have made all of their subs so they can't bring anyone else on. They have 10 men to then still go and forfeit the lead at home when the atmosphere is popping, is buoyant because we've just scored what we all thought was the winner. For me, it's unforgivable. It's unacceptable. And there was so much that the players on the pitch, of course, could have done better. Pap Sarr, what he was doing for United's first goal, I've no idea. But just the patterns of play and the passages of play, Pedro Porro was awful. And I'm sick and tired of watching Tottenham in the Premier League revert to standard and feel like we've only got one way of playing, and that is just playing long balls down the channels and relying on moments of magic. I want to see passages of plays. I want to see patterns. I want to see interchanging players. I just want to see us look more energetic and sharper in that final third, because it makes such a big difference, and it shouldn't have to take 4 or 5 subs in the second half and the crowd really starting to get on your backs again to be able to make those changes in performances. And this has obviously turned into a really long rant about Tottenham, and I'm sorry for that, but I just feel so frustrated because we watched such a good performance against Copenhagen. And a lot of people have said to me, yeah, well, Copenhagen translates to a championship level side. It doesn't matter. The lineup clearly worked. The way we played clearly worked. So why change that in the Premier League? No Odegaard and no Udogie to me is mind-blowing. Utterly mind-blowing. And I will tell you right now, if they'd have started the game, we would have won the game. And it would have been a lot more comfortable. I promise you, because United are not good. I know the media are up their arses at the moment and giving them a load of credit and whatever, but United are not a good side at the moment, and we should have beaten them. Their away form is pathetic, just like our home form is. And if Thomas Frank continues to drop points and lose games at home, fans are going to turn on him. If he continues to persist by playing players like Richarlison in that team, fans are going to turn on him. You know, I think he's very, very lucky today that we got a result out of it, because the stuff I was seeing on my social media timelines when we were 1-0 down heading into the final 10 minutes or so, they were not good. And if it continues, and if we continue to have results like that, as I say, particularly at home, people are going to turn on him so quickly. So I just feel like he needs to have a bit of reflection, and he needs to decide what his best attacking three is. Randall Kolo-Muani coming off at half-time for me was a massive mistake. Wilson Odegaard not starting. Destiny Udogie not starting for me. Not good. It doesn't fill me with confidence that Frank knows what he's doing and knows how to lead this team and knows what his best team is, because I don't feel like he is. And people will throw the injuries excuse at me and the fact that we obviously have injuries. And yeah, we do. I get that. But it doesn't matter. We still have good players in this squad that are capable of scoring goals. And we proved that today with Odegaard coming off the bench and with Tell coming off the bench. So what more do they have to do to be given a chance in this Tottenham team is all I'm saying. And United had good passages, and obviously Lemens made a good few saves for them. So there's the argument there that we could have scored more goals and should have won the game. But a draw was probably the fair result in the big picture side of things. But the result was there. The win was there for the taking. And for me, just as a fan, that's the most frustrating things. It annoys me just as much as if we'd lost, to be totally honest with you. But I don't know. Am I overreacting? Let me know in the comments. I'm really keen to hear people's thoughts on Frank and the team at the moment and our Premier League form because, as it stands without the Sunday games being played, we're sitting in the top 4 or in and around it or whatever. But it just feels like there's so much work to do with this team. So let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. And international break again. So I'll be around with a few different video ideas very, very soon. Just keep an eye out for that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend if you can. I'll see you in the next one. As always, come on, you Spurs.